Sights and Sounds of Historic Berks on BCTV is supported by the Berks Heritage Council.
Good evening and welcome to Sights and Sounds of Historic Berks County. I'm your host, Amanda Matchick, and tonight I'm joined by Becky Hughes from the Daniel Boone Homestead and Bradley Smith from the Berks History Center. So thank you both so much for joining me. We're doing the show virtually again, so hello to you guys at home or office, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with Becky. So the Daniel Boone Homestead just wrapped up their big Heritage Day Fall Festival yesterday on Sunday the 22nd. But there are a lot more upcoming programs and events at the site. Becky, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of those?
All right. So we're trying some different programs this year, and on November 3rd, which would be Friday, we've been doing a story time program. We do it at 11 o'clock, the first Friday in the month, and it's a history story time. So this month we're going to talk about quilting. It's a story all about quilting and the history that goes along with that. And then there's a craft that kids can do after we read the story.
That's open to anybody, correct?
Right. And it's open to anybody. We're kind of gearing it towards, preschool and kindergarten age kids, but if older kids want to come, they can come.
Okay. Okay. Or even, I guess, homeschool families probably would be perfect for as well. Yeah. Or if you do I was going to say, well, if it's the first Friday, I was going to say any Fridays that the kids are off, I'm sure it would be really popular, but
right.
It's probably just the Friday after Thanksgiving, I guess, in November. So
yeah. And then on the first Saturday of every month, we have been doing a sewing circle. It's for anybody who wants to come. Any kind of sewing craft that you do, or knitting or crocheting or whatever project you want to bring along. Each month we have a topic. We talk about the history with different things for 15 minutes, and then we do whatever craft we brought along.
So it's each person's own personal thing that they're working on. You're not working on something communal or as a I guess all chipping in to make one thing. Everybody just kind of brings their own.
Right, everybody brings their own, although some months we have extra supplies, so you can. Yeah. Everybody made pin cushions last month, so.
Oh, okay. So sometimes then, there's, all right, nice. Yeah. Nice. So that sounds almost like a workshop, but yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a workshop, but a little bit, yeah.
More informal, yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess there is a basket workshop on the 5th of November.
Yes, I believe actually Vicki Hefner from the Berks History Center is doing a basket workshop at the homestead. Yes. Right. And I think there's still some spots available. It is over half full. And I don't know the price off the top of my head. I want to say it's $40 for members and Daniel Boone Homestead Associate members, or $45 for non-members. But I can't promise. So just check the website.
Yeah. All of these programs are listed on our website.
Yeah. And even though Vicki's doing that one, it's a Daniel Boone Homestead workshop. So it's on our website, not the History Centers. I don't think so.
Right. I guess also in November we have on the 12th there's a fall lecture. Paul Trainer's going to do 18th century medicine.
Okay, okay. I think he's been there before and done something
Yeah.
similar in past years, but nothing like that recently. So that should be pretty neat.
Yeah, that'll be at noon. Um, and then the 19th of November, we're doing a Paws on the Path dog walk. Um, but if you don't have a dog and you want to come walk with us, that's okay too. We've been
Now,
doing them
how's
once a
that?
month.
You've been doing that since I guess like I don't know what, late summer, right? So
Right.
how's it
Yeah.
been going? Are you getting a bunch of, I don't know, you getting a bunch of dogs, you getting just a bunch of people without dogs, or some of both?
We got some of both the last
Okay.
time. Yeah. As long as your dog is friendly around other dogs, it's more than welcome to come. You
Okay.
know.
Okay. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of walkers and dog walkers at the homestead, that's for sure. So
Right.
that's a neat
Yeah.
idea to kind of, I don't know, create a little bit more of a sense of community, I guess, with all of them, because I feel like everybody's there, but just bringing them together is nice.
Yeah. We just walk and talk and you know,
Yeah.
for like an hour.
Share dog tips, I guess.
Share dog
Yeah.
tips, yeah, whatever comes to mind. So
You can
I
use
guess
that
those
as
are
a
the things coming up in November, but
okay, okay. And then you guys, there's a holiday event as well, right? That they do every, I guess, the beginning of December, I think.
yeah, I think it's the 10th of December.
A homestead Christmas. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
So
Very
there's lots of different things going on. If you like to want to come and be around a whole group of people, or you just want to come and there's only one or two people. So,
yeah. Yeah.
big
And
programs,
then
little programs.
I think you had wanted to mention to talk about some of the volunteer opportunities that you guys have available. Which
Right.
I'm assuming.
So we're always looking for volunteers there. If you can come
Who
up
is
with
it, right?
something that you like to do,
Yeah.
there's probably some need for it. Yeah. um, but if you like history, we could use some tour guides. If you like to, play in the dirt, we can garden and do trail maintenance and those kind of projects. Or if you just want to help with special events because you like to help with kids and paint pumpkins and those kind of
Mm-hmm,
things,
mm-hmm.
There's pretty much any kind of thing you can think of. But we do need volunteers in order to to run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, most of the programs are
Yeah,
volunteer supported, heavily volunteer supported. So
yeah. And then most people don't know that the site is owned by the state but run by the Daniel Boone Homestead Associates Group.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. No, it's a
So we're not run by the
nonprofit.
state, and yeah, so we're run by that nonprofit group, and
Yeah, it's a unique arrangement, but I guess Conrad Weiser's a similar situation, and other
yeah, there's a
sites
couple others.
beyond Burke's, but Weiser's the other Burke site that's kind of the same.
Yeah,
So,
it
but
works,
Weiser
but
doesn't have over 500 acres, so
no, that's true.
we have a lot more a lot more there. But
We're also the Daniel Boone Homestead Associates is also looking for members who want to join, uh, as well.
yeah, so I was going to ask about the volunteer opportunities, but then also to become a member, can that be found on the website?
Yeah, all that information
or
is
how-
on the website,
Okay, great.
the
Great.
DanielBooneHomestead.org.
Gotcha. Okay, fabulous. Very good. Okay.
So that's all listed there, as well as the events and anything to do with our rentals that we do as well.
Yes. Yeah. Did you want to share a little bit about the rental opportunities?
So there are a couple of places within at the homestead that you can rent. You can rent our picnic pavilions.
Mhm.
The Turk Education Building, you can rent that out for like birthday parties and those kind of things. And then the Wayside Lodge is often rented by groups, a lot of Boy Scout groups and church groups and those kind of things, because that one has a kitchen and bunk beds and things like that. So, but all the information on how much it costs is on the website, and they just send us an email or give us a call, and we can tell you whether whatever weekend it is you want is available.
Now, there's not public camping like at French Creek, correct? It's all just organized, like
Right. So it's
primarily
all,
scout or youth groups
yeah, so it's group camping. Yeah.
for
So you
overnights,
can't
but I
just
mean,
come with your family and say, "Hey, I want to set up a tent and camp." No,
Yeah.
you have to be part of a group of something. Yeah.
yes. But as far as daytime rentals and things, that anybody can do that, right? For
Yeah,
showers
anybody
or
can rent out
parties.
those
Okay.
buildings for the daytime.
It's just the overnights,
Right.
which I guess makes sense. Great. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was good stuff to hear. And Bradley, we'll turn it over to you. But I never asked, do you prefer Brad or Bradley?
I have no preference.
Okay.
Whatever's easier.
I feel like that's the first time I addressed you as Bradley, so I
That's
usually
true.
do Brad, so it felt very unnatural.
Felt very, I don't know, made me feel esteemed when you said it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, for the Mr. Bradley's. So I believe, I mean, you were on well, both of you actually were on last
Mhm.
month for a bit, but I think you particularly wanted to talk about the Pennsylvania Dutch classes. I was going to
Mhm.
call them workshops, and I was like, no, it's not right, but classes that you guys are
Yes.
doing. And I know you've been doing these now for a bit, but
Mhm.
I think if I remember correctly, at one point when we spoke, you said they've been a much bigger hit than you ever expected.
Absolutely, yes. So we started planning these summer of 2022 with a beginning date in September of last year, 2022. And when
Okay.
I got the idea, I thought maybe we'll get 10 people. I would consider that a success. 10 students for an 8-week course. So we ended up, we just put out some ads for it. And in that initial semester, we ended up getting 48 people signed up. So we had to quickly scramble and turn one class into 5. And I taught all 5 of them. And it was, it really had us busier, had me busier than I could have possibly imagined. But it was a
Now,
glorious busyness.
was that virtual?
That was all in person, actually.
Oh, those were all in person.
So then, so that was September, October of 2022. And I thought, and I knew there was some interest from folks that couldn't get here to our site. So there was
Uh-huh.
interest in a virtual version of it. So we tried that starting January 2023. And again, didn't know quite what the interest level would be. I knew
Okay.
from the experience in the fall that there was a greater demand than I realized, but I didn't know how it would turn out. So for the winter, which we did sort of late January to early March of this year, we ended up getting about 130 people signed up. So that one, we ended up doing 9 classes, and I taught all 9 of them. And we did a survey of those students, and over 100 students completed the survey. And of that, 50% of them said, well, about half of them said, just dabbling with this has been a great experience. We don't want to take it too far, though. This is just a fun little thing we wanted to do. But about half of the survey respondents said, we want to become fluent speakers. We will take any course you offer. So then we started, I started working to develop more curricula, I should say. And I said to our director, I said, I just taught 9 classes of Pennsylvania Dutch, and we need help. I can't keep doing all these classes myself. So we've hired some additional teachers, and we now have developed an intermediate course and an advanced course. So right now, for what we're calling our fall semester, right now we're running 3 beginner courses, 2 intermediate courses, and 3 advanced courses simultaneously that 3 of us are teaching. And some are virtual, some are in person, and it's just unbelievable how much it just taken off.
So are the classes in the evenings? Are they during the daytime? Are they on weekends? I'm just curious, like people's availability and
It's a mixture of both. It's a mixture
okay,
of both. Yeah.
yeah.
So, for example, I'm teaching a class tomorrow from 1 to 3, and then Wednesday I have a 3 o'clock and a 7 p.m. class.
Yeah, okay.
Today I'm
Well,
teaching one at 5 and one at 7. So it's really all hours. Though we've noticed some slots are definitely more popular than others. There
yeah,
hasn't been much interest in a morning time slot, for example.
okay. That would probably make sense. And now, did you speak Pennsylvania Dutch?
Yeah,
So,
I heard it a lot when I was little and kind of picked it up here and there, but
okay.
a lot of people that were in my orbit that spoke it are now passed away. So I felt like when I started this, I was pretty rusty. And part of me felt like I'm so rusty. I'm not sure if I'm up to this challenge of being able to teach others. But um just the stars have aligned in a way that it's
So
working
did,
out.
but did you have to like teach yourself before you started the class?
No, I mean, I say this, it's really been coming back to me.
Okay.
And especially, it's one thing to have to do something yourself, but then to have to teach others to do it, it really makes you think a little bit more about it and dig a little more. And I feel like a lot has come back to me that I'd forgotten just in this past year from working with others. And now having co-teachers has been really great because we now have myself and 2 others teaching, and each one of the teachers kind of brings a different perspective to the
Oh,
class.
yeah.
They have a different teaching style. One of our teachers, for example, really knows grammar very, very well, and he understands the rules of grammar.
Okay.
That's not so much my strength. I feel like my strength is teaching in an entertaining way. But when you take his grounding in rules of grammar with my skill set and the skill set of our other teacher, I feel like we're a good team that really complements each other's strengths.
Well, do all three of you then teach the same class, or do you each have your own classes?
So we have our own classes,
Okay.
and and they've both taught intermediate and advanced level.
Okay.
At this point, I'm the only one who's taught the beginner level classes,
Mhm.
and I kind of like to do those. The beginner level is about half language, but also about half culture and history, and I really enjoy that
Yeah.
aspect of it as
Well,
well.
yeah, of course. Okay. So the other two teachers, who are they and where are they? Local professors or historians?
Well, we have 2 so far. We have Ethan Rode. He is by trade a linguist, and he lives in Ontario, Canada, but he's got Berks County roots. He speaks Pennsylvania Dutch, but his profession is working with Native American groups to
Oh,
preserve their
wow.
native languages. So he's got great linguistics expertise. And
Now
then,
he's not here though. He does his virtually?
correct, yeah, so he does exclusively virtual.
Oh, excuse me. And the other one?
So, and the other teacher, his name's Kevin Sterner. He has a PhD in sciences and was a professor at University of Pennsylvania for quite a few years, but also speaks Pennsylvania Dutch quite well. So he's sort of gone from a science teacher to a Pennsylvania Dutch teacher.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's, again, a real interesting mix, but I think our skills really blend together in a nice way and we make a nice team together. And then we
Yeah.
also have a number of people who've supported us. Patrick Donmoyer at the Pennsylvania German Cultural Heritage
Oh.
Center. we chat with him a lot. He gives us a lot of encouragement and advice. And Doug Maidenford, who's very well known as sort of for a lot of his educational videos related to Pennsylvania Dutch.
Okay.
We talk with him a lot, and we've even had contact with folks in Germany who've been interested in what we're doing, because there is, I wouldn't say a large number of people over there, but a small but very, very interested group who are very, very curious about the Pennsylvania Dutch and sort of these long lost cultural cousins that they're aware of over here in Berks County area.
Now, do you incorporate any field trips or site visits? I mean, you mentioned Germany, like you should to have a trip to Germany for everybody. But then I'm like, well, more locally, like, do you ever, especially, I guess, kind of for the beginner class, since you mentioned a large portion of it is history and cultural,
Mm-hmm.
And then you of course mentioned the Pennsylvania German Heritage Center in Kutztown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But any thoughts to incorporate, kind of like, field trips or anything like that to some of these places?
Well, sort of. We haven't done local trips per se as
Mhm.
part of class. However, Vicki Hefner, our education curator, she has a very active
She does her
tour
bus
program.
trips.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
they haven't been specifically linked to our class, but that's sort of
Okay.
a relevant adjunct to what we're doing with our
Mhm,
classes. That said, we have been talking very seriously about taking some of our students on a trip to Southwest Germany, maybe in about 2 years, as kind of like a sort of a capstone to
Yeah.
their research and studying and learning of the language. So that is definitely something. There'd be a lot of logistical details to explore, but we're very seriously interested in that possibility.
Yeah. Well, some of Vicky's trips wasn't there one to Canada?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nova
Yeah.
Scotia. Yep.
Yes. So guys
So
get around.
she's been sort of broadening her scope of the places to where she will travel,
Okay.
and they've
Now,
got one.
did you do anything with, I'm trying to think, I think it's called the Schwenkfelder? Just talking about trips, I know they do like this, at least they used to do this like annual pilgrimage
Mm.
to somewhere in Germany. So when you were mentioning that, it jogged that, but also just for any sort of, I guess, piggybacking on the classes and things.
Yeah, we haven't. Now I know of them, and I know they've done some really great programming over there.
I wonder if they've ever, I don't think I've ever, though, heard of classes that they've done. This definitely seems like it's something really unique.
Yeah, and again, as I said earlier, we just never could have anticipated the interest. And also of interest is how broad this sort of Berks County diaspora is. We have students all over the country, and we've had a number of international students. Right now, I have in one of my classes a professor, a professor from Japan, from Tokyo, who's interested in. She's Japanese, but her area of expertise is American studies, and she's taken a particular research interest in the Amish. So I have this Japanese college professor from Tokyo taking my Pennsylvania Dutch class.
So is she living here or?
Right now, she's on sabbatical in Boston, but she signs up. She's in one of the online classes, so she logs in every week and talks Pennsylvania Dutch with us.
So she's in Boston on sabbatical.
Yeah, but we literally we have people all over the country, and every once in a while we have a mix-up where someone makes a mistake with the time zone difference.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So it's really, it's things we would have never ever thought about, and it's it's pretty wild. 5, 10 years ago, we would have never even dreamed this was possible.
Wow, that is really cool. And the age is, I mean, is it younger people, older? Is it just a mix?
It is a mix, and it tends to be a lot of people that I'd say are in sort of the 50 to 70 range. A lot of
Okay.
folks who are the children of fluent speakers, and we hear the same story a lot from them. Mom and dad spoke Pennsylvania Dutch. That's what they used when they didn't want us kids to understand. And now I want to learn what my parents were saying all those years. And
Oh my gosh.
and it really has been. And before we have to go, I want to say that it really has been more than just a curiosity or something, a fun hobby or something interesting, in that there are times where I will see a student almost move to tears suddenly, and I'll ask them what's wrong, and they'll say, I haven't heard anyone say what you just said since my grandmother was living, since my grandfather was living. So for a lot of people,
Yeah.
this has been a very special way for them to reconnect with people they miss and love very, very much. And the same is true for me, because it's what all my family spoke.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. That's cool. Now, as far as registering for the classes, we are running out of time, like you said, but I assume through your website.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sign up online.
Berkshistory.org. It's too late now for the fall semester. So our next one is
Right.
going to be winter, spring. So we're looking to adjust that start date to about mid-March. So follow our website, or just send us an email, give us a phone call, look us up on berkshistory.org if you're interested. Coming March 2024 will be our next semester.
You might have mentioned this, but how long is each class, and how long, like how is hour, 2 hours, and then how many weeks?
90-minute class for 8 weeks, although I tend to get long-winded, and I've been sort of throwing in a bonus week or two here and there, depending on how
Okay.
on behind I get.
Okay. Okay. So hour and a half class, and then you said about 8 weeks. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Right. Well, that's, yeah. I've heard snippets of this over the last, I guess, year or so, at the Heritage Council meetings, and knew that it was a much bigger hit than you guys thought it was going to be. But it was really neat to hear kind of the backstory and everything for them, because, yeah, like I said, it's something unique that I don't think I certainly have never heard of any other museums doing. So kudos to you and the History Center for kind of coming up with that.
Thanks. Well, and kudos to all. I can't thank the people of Berks County and, well, all over. I'm just thankful
For
for their
taking the
interest.
class.
It's
Yeah.
the interest and enthusiasm of the students that I think have really made this special. I'm just
That's
sort of a
awesome.
facilitator.
Yeah, well, true. That's partially true. But all right. Well, thank you so much, Brad and Becky, for joining me tonight. We are out of time, but it was great to hear a little bit more about the History Center's Pennsylvania Dutch classes and the upcoming programs and events at the Daniel Boone Homestead. And we will see our viewers next month. Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.
Sights and Sounds of Historic Berks on BCTV is supported by the Berks Heritage Council.